"We're taking your bonus for the family cruise," Dad declared. "My $45,000 year-end bonus." I asked, "How did you find out?" Mom chuckled. "We read your mail." I smiled, called HR. "Please send everything to my new address." When they couldn't book the cruise and realized I'd moved. That's exactly what happened to me. It was a random Thursday night, not a wedding, but my dad was clinking his glass at the dining table. My sister, Jenna, and her husband, Kyle, were smiling across from me like they were already in on some hilarious secret. Mom was there too, oblivious because the TV was muted. And then Dad dropped it. "Good news. We're using your bonus for the family cruise." He said it so casually, like we were discussing whose turn it was to take out the trash. Like my hard-earned money was just another household item, living in the pantry next to the salt shaker. I blinked. Once. Then again, slower, trying to process. "My what?" I asked. Mom, bless her heart, giggled. "Your year-end bonus. From your job." "I'm a boxing coach," I replied, grabbing onto the first factual thing my brain could find. "I don't get a corporate bonus." Jenna snorted. "Not your gym job, Simon. Your other thing." My other thing was a contract I had with a regional athletic program. It wasn't glamorous. It was performance incentives, a retention bonus. But it paid damn well. "Okay," I said, trying to keep my voice even, though my blood was starting to simmer. "How did you know about that?" Dad smiled and faltered. "Because it's coming in the mail." And then Mom, with a shrug so innocent it was infuriating, confessed. "We read your mail, honey." Just like that. No apology, no oops. No, we thought it was ours. Just a casual admission, like they'd simply watered my plants. Jenna leaned in, all excitement. "We already talked to a travel agent. Caribbean, 8 nights, balcony cabins. Deposits due tomorrow," Dad added like a cheer. 8,000. "But don't worry," Jenna chirped. "You're not paying alone. We'll cover the excursions, and Mom's doing travel insurance." I stared at my plate. My hands were flat on my thighs under the table, my pulse thrumming in my fingertips. It wasn't the cruise itself that bothered me so much. It was the absolute certainty. The chilling realization that my life was a vending machine, and they'd already punched in the coins for me. I looked up and I smiled. Not a big smile. Just enough to make the moment awkward. "Cool," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "Then you won't need me to do anything, because you've already planned it." Dad's eyebrows shot up. "Simon," I held up one finger. "Just 1 second." I stood up, walked into the hallway, and dialed the HR number I'd saved months ago, but never used. When the rep answered, I spoke as if rescheduling a dentist appointment. "Hi, this is Simon Carter. I need all payroll and benefit documents sent to my new address, effective immediately. And I need to update my direct deposit." Behind me, I heard Jenna's chair scrape. Mom's voice floated down the hallway, still laughing. "Oh my God, he's being dramatic." I gave the HR rep my new address, because, yeah, I already had one. And right then, in that hallway, with my mother's dismissive laugh echoing, I decided it was time. Time to stop being their safety net. "See, my name is Simon. I'm 38. I coach boxing for a living. Not the Hollywood version. The real one. I'm at the gym at 5:30 a.m., wrapping hands, watching footwork, yelling chin down, until it's practically a personality trait. I also do private sessions for people who want to feel strong again after life has punched them in the mouth. I'm not rich, but I'm not irresponsible either. I'm the spreadsheet guy. I track everything. I have an emergency fund, so robust my friends call me boring. The only reason my family thinks I'm wealthy is because I'm the one who doesn't panic. Fridge dies? I replace it. Tire blows? I handle it. Someone needs help for 2 months? I'm the one who says, "Okay, show me the numbers." This started young. My parents weren't monsters. No screaming, no throwing things. They were just comfortable with me being the responsible one. My dad, Frank, 64, still quotes prices from 1998 and acts offended the world changed. My mom, Linda, 61, is warm in public, strategic in private. She could turn a sentence into a favor without ever raising her voice. And my sister, Jenna, 34, always needed more attention, more flexibility, more forgiveness. In their story, she's the free spirit, I'm the steady one. In mine, Jenna learned early that I'm overwhelmed is a magic spell that makes other people pay. I moved out at 19, lived in terrible apartments, ate pasta like it was a food group. I trained, I coached, I took any work I could find. When I was 26, I got that contract with the athletic organization. It wasn't a surprise bonus. It was written in. The only reason my parents knew? For a long time, I kept my mailing address as theirs. Practical, I told myself. Their house was stable. My apartments changed. Mail got lost. Mom framed it as a favor. I'll keep it safe, she'd say. I'll put it on the counter. I never, ever pictured her opening it. Who does that? I should have known better. There were signs. Little ones. The kind you ignore, because naming them out loud would change how you saw your own family. Like Mom casually mentioning details she shouldn't know. How's that new insurance plan? She asked once. I paused. I didn't tell you, I changed plans. She just smiled. Oh, you mentioned it. I hadn't. Or Dad asking. So you're making more now, right? After I negotiated a higher hourly rate for private training. How would you know that? I asked. He just shrugged. You're doing well. We can tell. They couldn't tell. They were guessing. And they were checking. I kept rationalizing it. It's hard to admit your own mother sees your life as a file folder to be rummaged through. The first time the pattern became crystal clear, it was over something stupid, a phone upgrade. Jenna called me, crying, like she'd been cut off from oxygen. My phone is dying. The screen's cracked, it won't hold a charge. Kyle needs is for work, and the kids need me reachable. I'm coaching, I said. What do you need? I just need to put it on your card, she blurted out. Just for the payment plan. I'll pay you back, like $89 a month. I said, no. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just, I can't do that. 2 hours later, my dad called. What's this I hear about you refusing to help your sister? That sentence, it did something to me. It wasn't, is she okay? It was, you refused. Like my role had been assigned, and I'd gone off script. I didn't refuse to help, I said. I refused to put a phone on my credit. Dad sighed, like I was the unreasonable one. You're always making things complicated. That was their phrase when I asked for boundaries. Complicated. When I asked for clarity, I was cold. When I asked for paperwork, distrustful. When I asked for repayment, I was keeping score. But when they needed something, it was always urgent, emotional, and somehow tied to family. Then it escalated. A $3,200 temporary loan for Jenna's car repairs. A $1,450 payment because her landlord messed up auto pay. A $600 grocery run because the kids are growing and everything is expensive. Always with a promise. Next month will be better. It never was. And because I'm the spreadsheet guy, I saw the numbers. My parents' mortgage was paid off. Dad had a pension. Mom had savings she bragged about. But when Jenna needed something, it was always me. They didn't ask her to budget. They didn't ask her to sell anything. They asked me to cover the gap. My gym clients joked, Simon, you're like a therapist with gloves. I'd laugh, but the truth is, I was doing emotional labor all day, then coming home to more of it. It wasn't one big betrayal that wore me down. It was the drip, drip, drip of entitlement. Like Mom introducing me to her friends as our son who helps us with everything. Not our son who coaches young fighters. Just helps. Like I was a tool. Or Jenna posting on Facebook about not having support, with a photo of her kids and a caption about some people only care about themselves. People commented hearts and, you're so strong. I was some people. Kyle texted me afterward. Don't take it personally. She's just venting. Here's what nobody tells you about being the reliable one. Your reliability becomes a resource people feel entitled to. And once they get used to that, your no sounds like betrayal. I started sleeping badly. 3:12 a.m. became a regular time. I'd wake up, and my brain would just run numbers like a treadmill. If Jenna can't pay rent, will my parents ask me? If Dad's truck breaks, will it be just this once? If I say no, will I be the villain again? My chest would feel tight, like a body shot I didn't see coming. I stopped drinking coffee, not because I was healthier, but because caffeine plus anxiety is basically a panic smoothie. Then, the mail thing got worse. A credit card offer for me showed up. My mom casually said, "Oh, I threw that out." I stared at her. "You opened it?" "I didn't open it," she said quickly. It looked like junk. But she knew it was a credit card offer, which meant she had opened it. Then Dad mentioned my contract bonus. Not directly. Just a comment. "Good year for you," he said one day, like he was discussing the weather. "That program of yours must be paying off." I froze. "What do you mean?" He waved his hand. "You know, the incentive. The end-of-year thing." He said it wrong, like he'd read it, not heard it from me. That night, I went home and pulled up my USPS informed delivery. If you've never used it, it's basically the post office emailing you photos of your mail before it arrives. It's supposed to be convenient. For me, it became evidence. I scrolled back. Pieces were missing. Letters from my bank, my benefits provider, the athletic organization. They weren't lost. They were intercepted. I sat on my couch and stared at my phone for a full minute. It wasn't that they were curious. It was that they felt entitled to know. Worse, entitled to use what they knew. By the time that Thursday dinner happened, the cruise announcement wasn't even shocking. It was the logical next step of a pattern I'd been ignoring. I didn't explode at dinner. I didn't throw my plate. I didn't yell, "You can't read my mail," even though I wanted to. Because yelling would turn me into the story they already told about me, the dramatic one, the sensitive one, the selfish one. So I did what I always do. I got precise. The morning after that dinner, at 6:08 a.m., I sat in my car outside the gym with a protein bar I wasn't hungry for and made a list. Change mailing address, lock down payroll access, separate finances completely, document everything move. I'd been saving quietly, not because I was planning to run away, but because I never trusted family support to be real. I found a one-bedroom apartment 15 minutes from my gym. Clean, simple. $1,675 a month. I paid the deposit on December 3rd, signed the lease on December 5th. Then I set up a P.O. box for official mail. I called my bank and put a note on my account. No one but me. No family verification. I changed every single password. Email, banking, payroll portal, my coaching app, even my streaming services. If it had a password, it got changed. I froze my credit. Set up two-factor authentication on everything. Then I contacted HR at the athletic organization and updated my direct deposit to a new account at a different bank. Not because I thought my parents could drain my account, but because I didn't want any paperwork showing up at their house ever again. I also emailed myself a timeline, dates, amounts, who said what. Screenshots of Jenna's Facebook posts about no support. Kyle's texts telling me not to take it personally. I downloaded my bank statements for the last 24 months, highlighting transfers with notes like Jenna rent and Mom asked. Not for revenge. For clarity. Because if you don't document reality, someone else will rewrite it for you. And one more thing, small but important, I filed an official change of address with the post office. Not a casual forward my mail request. A full change that triggers confirmation letters. The kind that makes it very obvious when someone is no longer your mailbox. I planned the confrontation. Not a screaming match. A calm moment where the facts would do the talking. I wasn't planning to destroy them. I was planning to stop letting them destroy me. They tried to book the cruise on Saturday. I know because Mom texted me Friday night at 9:14 p.m. Travel agent appointment tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Be there. Bring ID. No, please. No question mark. Just instructions. I read it sitting on the floor of my new apartment. eating takeout out of the container because I hadn't unpacked plates yet. I replied with one sentence. I won't be there. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, Simon, don't do this. I didn't answer. At 11:26 the next morning, Dad called. Voicemail. 11:29, Jenna called. Voicemail. 11:35, call texted. This is embarrassing. They're here. The agent needs the card for the deposit. At 11:41, Mom texted. We can't finalize anything without you. The agent says the deposit has to be paid by the person whose bonus is being used. That line. It made me laugh out loud in my empty apartment. They were treating my bonus like it was already theirs. But the travel agent, some stranger in a blazer, was the first person in this whole situation who acted like money requires consent. I drove to the travel agency anyway. Not to pay. To end it properly. It was in a strip mall next to a nail salon and a place that sold smoothies named Green Goddess. The travel agent, a woman named Marcy, looked so relieved when I walked in, like I was the adult who finally showed up. My family, though? They looked like I'd walked into court. Dad stood up fast. There he is. Mom forced a smile. Simon, thank God. We were worried. Jenna's eyes were sharp. Are you going to do this or not? Marcy gestured to a chair. Hi, Simon. We just need your authorization for the deposit. Then we can lock in the pricing. We already agreed as a family, Dad said, loud enough for Marcy to hear. I sat down slowly. Marcy, I said, polite. Can I ask a quick question? Who gave you the idea that my bonus was paying for this? Marcy looked uncomfortable. Your mother said you'd be receiving a year-end bonus, and you wanted to treat the family. Mom jumped in fast. That's basically true. I nodded. Okay. Then I turned to my parents. The thing that bothered me wasn't the cruise, I said quietly. It was you opening my mail and announcing my money like it was a family fund. Dad scoffed. Oh my God. It was sitting on the counter. Mom leaned forward, her voice soft, like she was calming a child. We didn't mean anything by it. We just thought you'd be happy to do something for everyone. Jenna crossed her arms. You always help. What's the difference? There it was again. Always. The word that turns you into a resource. I pulled out my phone and opened an email. Marcy, I said, I'm not authorizing any deposit. Please remove my name from anything related to this booking. Marcy nodded immediately, like she'd been waiting for permission to be professional. Okay. Dad's face reddened. Simon, I held up my hand again. One finger. Calm. I want to be very clear, I said. There is no bonus money available for you to spend. Kyle frowned. What do you mean? It's coming. I looked at him. It was scheduled to, yes. Dad leaned toward me. You can't just... I can't, I said, because it's mine. Mom's voice went sharp. So, you're punishing us now. I shook my head. Not punishment. Boundaries. I turned my phone so they could see the email confirmation from HR. Yesterday, I said, I updated my payroll address and direct deposit. All documents go to my new address, not your house. Mom blinked fast. Your new address? Dad's mouth opened and closed like he was buffering. Jenna's voice rose. You moved? I didn't raise mine. Yes, I said. I moved. Mom's face did that thing where warmth drains out of it. You didn't tell us, she said, like that was the crime. I didn't feel safe telling you, I said. Because you read my mail. Dad slammed his palm lightly on the desk. Not hard enough to be violent, just hard enough to perform authority. We are your parents. And I'm an adult, I said. And the post office agrees. Jenna scoffed. You're blowing this up. I leaned back and exhaled. In your version of the story, I said, I'm selfish and dramatic for not paying for a cruise. I looked at each of them. In mine, you opened my mail, planned a vacation with money that wasn't yours, and told everyone it was a done deal. Silence. Marcy cleared her throat gently. I can cancel the hold on the cabins. There will be no booking today. Dad turned to her like she was betraying him too. We already. Marcy cut in, professional and polite. Sir, without authorization from the pair, I can't process the deposit. And that was it. They couldn't book the cruise. Not because I yelled. Not because I made a scene. Because reality has rules. Mom's voice got soft again, but this time it was colder. So what now? I stood up. What now is simple, I said. You don't open my mail anymore. You don't plan my money anymore. And you don't speak about my finances like you have access. Dad's eyes flashed. You think you're better than us? I shook my head.
No.
I think I'm separate from you. Jenna laughed, bitter.
Wow.
Okay, so we're just supposed to figure it out. I nodded once. Yes. Then I looked at Mom. You laughed when you said you read my mail. That laugh is why you didn't get a warning. I walked out to the parking lot. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Where's your new address? We need to know for emergencies. I stared at it for a second. Then I typed, if there's a real emergency, call 911. Otherwise, you don't need it. Not revenge. Just boundaries. The first wave was anger. Dad left me 3 voicemails in one day. The first was loud. The second was guilt. The third was a performance of heartbreak. Mom sent paragraphs about how families share, and you've changed, and we were so proud of you. Jenna posted on Facebook again. Vague enough to be plausible, obvious enough to sting. Some people will always choose money over family. Protect your peace. Kyle's mom commented a heart. I didn't respond. The second wave was concerned trolling. My aunt called. Your mother says you're not doing well. Are you okay? I was sitting on my new couch, eating cereal for dinner because I hadn't grocery shopped yet. I'm fine, I said. She lowered her voice. She said you're spiraling. I almost laughed. Here's what manipulative people do when they can't control your choices. They try to control the story about your mental state. I kept everything boring. I moved, I said. I updated my address. I'm not paying for a cruise. That's it. My aunt was quiet. They read your mail? Yes, I said. Another pause. Then softer. That's not okay. The third wave was bargaining. Mom offered to apologize if that's what you need. Dad offered to forget the cruise if I would just come back to Sunday dinners. Jenna offered to pay me back eventually if I would at least cover the deposit for now so the family doesn't look stupid. That line told me everything. They weren't upset about boundaries. They were upset about optics. They didn't want accountability. They wanted me back in position. My preparation held. There were no open doors for them to sneak through anymore. My payroll documents went to my P.O. box. My bonus went to my new account. My credit was frozen. My address wasn't floating around on envelopes in their kitchen. They even tried the travel agent again. Marcy emailed me 2 days later. Your family asked if they could proceed without you and pay later when your bonus arrives. I informed them they cannot and that you are not associated with this booking. I replied with one sentence. Thank you. Please do not share any of my personal details with them. She responded. Understood. That was the difference. A stranger respected my boundaries the first time I set them. My family treated them like an insult. It's been 9 months. The quiet is the best part. My new apartment is small, but it's mine. I have a cheap plant I keep alive out of spite. I put my keys in the same bowl every night. Nobody has an emergency copy. My gym is doing better than it was, mostly because I'm not showing up exhausted from emotional chaos. I used part of my bonus to renovate the training space. New bags, better flooring, a small office where I can actually sit down and do paperwork without hearing my own thoughts echo. I also did something I didn't expect. I started therapy. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand why it took me so long to admit that love without respect isn't love. My parents and sisters still tell their version. In their story, I abandoned the family over vacation. In mine, I separated my life from people who treated my privacy like a suggestion. We talk sometimes, surface level. Holidays are short. Phone calls are polite and timed. I don't share numbers. I don't share dates. I don't share leverage. The thing I learned is painfully simple. If someone laughs when you tell them they crossed a line, they will cross it again. So you stop giving them access. Not revenge. Just boundaries. And yeah, sometimes I still wake up at 3:12 a.m. But now, when I do, it's because I'm thinking about tomorrow's training schedule. Not because I'm bracing for the next demand. If you've ever been the reliable one in your family, I'm genuinely curious. What would you have done in my place? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to know.